Welcome to day 65 of projectDIG. projectDIG is a 2D multiplayer automation survival sandbox game being developed here entirely on Twitch, and all of the VODs and recap videos are being uploaded to YouTube. We are working on a custom C++ game engine and kind of wrapping up scripting support, and yeah, just we'll have to come back to it in the future, but we spent enough time working on it, so we're kind of moving on from that and trying to figure out what we're actually doing today. So like the first thing that we need to do is kind of just wrap up the user interface stuff, or the scripting user interface stuff, by committing everything that we did here. There's a lot. Like I said, we'll have to just come back to it and try to figure it out. But yeah, I changed many things here. Actually, oh, that's right. These are the creates. Yes. I wonder if I would be able to, man, I kind of wish that I did this, or like committed things in stages a little bit better. It would be kind of nice to be able to, like, I want this, but it'd be kind of nice to just take these things. So this get object we could expose separately. Maybe we'll do it like that. We'll try. So that file is good. And then if we ended up deciding to undo this, it would be easier to undo. So yeah, I'm just skipping over the get object stuff. So what we did here, and this is kind of all for the same reason, but we did in steps, is that the Lua binding library that we're using, Soul, if it creates an object, then it assumes responsibility for it, which is understandable. And so that would mean that whenever that object stops being referenced, it is destroyed. And that's not good for us because we actually want our engine to take ownership. And there's probably a better way, to be honest, to do this, which is why I'm wanting to pull things over like this in pieces, so that way if I change my mind in the future, we can just undo it all. Okay, lower user type. We can skip over that stuff, and we need to add these in. Going through all of that, we do want that. We will, never mind, we don't need that. So yeah, we created these create functions, which are just like little factories that create the object on the C++ side. It's kind of a cheat. I don't know, it works. I think we'll skip that. So much stuff. Almost done with it though. And then I think the rest of it we can just throw together. Okay. Yeah, so this is expose UI elements with a create method so that the C++ side is the one creating and assuming responsibility for these objects. For them. Yeah, okay, cool. So then I think we can just throw everything else together. Most of it's with this create stuff and the get objects. We don't want physics or game, and I think we want everything else. We do need that. And I think that's it. Okay, so this is various, all right, what is it? It's like attempt at preserving user type data by UI element used by creating the Lua object before passing it to callbacks. Or I guess passing it to the Lua side. So pretty much like the idea is that, or at least what I thought would work. We can go over to here. Let's go to like element group. That's a good place to go. Is if I return the element, not the element pointer, but the element by the type that it is, then it would actually work because this is overridden in all of the base classes. And so whenever we call this, we're basically using the RTTI from C++ to get the correct object. So that way, whenever we create the soul object, it knows what type it is. It's not just an element, it is a label or a button or whatever. And so that way we could actually treat it like that on the Lua side. So if we say, oh, let's associate this button on this element group, then what we get back is actually like the button user type, and we can then, you know, do something like set the text on it or whatever. Hey, Pink, welcome back. So that's what we're trying to do here. Unfortunately, some weird stuff is happening where eventually it ends up saying that we can't index that user type, and I don't know what that really means, and so I just decided to move on, and we'll come back to this in the future. But we'll, you know, still commit that. Okay, so let's move on with our lives. What are we going to work on today? I was thinking that we could actually look at hashmaps once more and move in that direction finally. So hashmaps, basically just how are we being able, you know, we want to create hashmaps or associate a key to some values. That's very useful. And the standard library is kind of like a jack of all trades where it's okay at everything. At least that's my understanding. And it's also very safe in how it does things. It doesn't really cut any corners. And that ends up making it kind of not the best for games because games will want to typically do things very specifically and also wants to be able to do things very fast. And so I've been looking at using some other like alternatives to the standard library hash maps. So that's something like the unordered map or dense maps, etc. So I think what I want to end up using is Google dense map and sparse map. Not that. Here we go. Sparse hash. So that's what we're looking at here. So I think it said in here. There's a, sometimes you want to use a sparse hash map, and sometimes you want to use a dense hash map. And they also have sets, which is kind of nice. I was trying to figure out, I thought they had a nice little snippet of like, what's the difference between the two? Dense hash map versus maybe I was thinking of somewhere else. I was just looking for that really quick. Yeah, here I remember looking at this. It did quite well. The Google Dense Maps. It doesn't do so well later on though in some of these. So this is a pretty cool benchmark from a few years ago. You guys are interested. Yeah, this is I think specifically for TSL. They're kind of trying to sell their thing. It's like there are trade-offs for all of these, and so it's not like you ever want to use a single hash map type for everything. Sometimes it makes sense to use a dense hash map, and other times it makes sense to use a sparse one. And then there's also like, I mean, if you really want to get into it, there's lots of different options for it where like there's these different solutions, and depending on like the key that you're using, it might change how you would want to and also not just the key but the I think more of the access. Like if you are inserting a lot and then doing checks like very rarely, that's going to change what you might want to use versus something like where you rarely insert things but you are doing lots of checks to see if the map contains a specific key. Yeah. So let's see here. The idea is that I looked this up like a month ago, and I was like, good, and now I kind of forgot exactly what it all is. It's dead. But from the comments and the implementation on sparse tables, the idea is that a table is divided. Each group is stored sparsely, thus inserting into the table causes some array to grow, which is slow but still constant time. Lookup involves doing a logical position to sparse position lookup, which is also slow but constant time. The larger M is, the slower these operations are, but the less overhead. Could have sworn that was it talked about it in here. Let's look before we actually really commit to this. I'm curious to see what the interface is like for all of this. What is this stuff? Is there an actual website for this? Where's that at? Okay, that's this. Okay, cool. These, yeah. Then if the order of elements is important, map, which looks like it takes you to like some dead end. So here's how you can use it. Pretty much the same. So you can actually write the information to a file. That's interesting that you can do that. It's sad that they don't have a contains like the new C++20 stuff. We could probably add one in if we really wanted to. I thought it was saying that we needed to create or set up something. Maybe it was in sparse. Yeah, there it is, the empty key. I don't think they do that here, right? Oh no, they do. So yeah, so you have to set the empty key, which I guess they just typically set to null. Oh, because it's a char pointer, that makes sense. Yeah. So for us, it might be like 0 in some cases. Yeah. So a sparse hash map says that it's stingy with its memory usage. But it also has requirements, for instance, for distinguished deleted key that may not be easy for all applications to satisfy. Large dictionaries in memory and for applications that need these dictionaries to be persistent. So, okay, so that's actually a really nice summary of what the difference is. So a dense hash map and a sparse hash map are both unordered maps. The main difference is that the dense one is it uses extra memory, but it's for whenever we're wanting to be able to like very quickly get access to elements or add elements, and it's supposed to be for like these smaller dictionaries. I think probably the majority of the time, or maybe always, we're going to be wanting to use a dense hash map over a sparse hash map. It sounds like, yeah, we only really want to use a sparse hash map if we are if we have a very large map. That's what it says here. So, I don't even know what we would be doing that for. The best thing I can think of is maybe if we were wanting to store if we had like a huge world that we're wanting to do lookup. I don't think that's how, yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're ever going to want to use sparse hash map. I think that's probably more for like applications where it's like, oh yeah, we want to have this huge dictionary that's storing, all, or not dictionary, this sparse hash map that's storing a database of information that we want to be able to do lookups on. We're not doing that though. So yeah, I think we're always going to want to use this dense one. That's cool. Makes sense. Oh, whoops. Hey, Seagull. What are we coding? We are coding projectDIG. Right now what I'm looking at is replacing our map usage with something else. I think I have decided to use this Google dense hash map. Set deleted key. If you want to erase, you must call set deleted key in addition to set empty key. The deleted and empty keys must differ. Okay. Resize. When an item is deleted, its memory isn't freed right away. This allows you to iterate over a hash table and call erase without invalidating the iterator. To force the memory to be freed, call resize 0. Min load refactor. Setting the minimum load factor to 0 guarantees that the hash table will never shrink. Yeah, dense hash map is fastest, uses the most memory unless entries are small. Sparse hash map, slowest, uses the least memory. Hash map and unordered map, which is what the standard library has, which is in the middle. That's what I was kind of saying, is that it's kind of like tries to just do, you know, it's in the middle. It tries to do the best for all scenarios. Yeah, which is why it's good but not great. Yeah, that's okay. So how do we use this? Compile test applications. It's header only, right? Or am I wrong? Those are the samples. It's enough to just include the header file. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I got pulled in here. Hey, Mr. Poundsign, what's up? Yeah, we're doing C++. Isn't C++ what Arduino IDE is used in? I'm not sure. Maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like C or C++. Probably one of those two. But it might support other things as well. I'm not sure. Okay, that's what I was looking for. So it says that it doesn't exist. I think that's because they moved it to here. How's it going, Mr. Poundsign? I was trying to figure out, like, I thought that I wanted that, but they don't say that these are header files. So I was like, I don't know. 8 years. Parse table. It sounds like this almost looks like everything, right? Never mind. I guess it's just these. I don't know why they're not .header files, but I mean, it's obviously. Yeah, okay, so what we want is this. I think what we'll do is we'll put them inside of our libs, new folder, Google. Folder, include lots of folders, Google. Okay. And then we'll add, oh, whoops. New file. This is our dense hash map. That's not what I want. Let's go raw. Select all of that, paste it in here. Cool. And we might as well grab the other ones while we're here, right? Sets would definitely be good. I wonder if we need these other, like the template util. Probably, huh? Probably need all of that stuff. Be nice if I could. I guess that's probably the faster way to do it, huh? Is this download this zip file? Sparsehash. Maybe that's what I should call this. Sparsehash. I guess they like having them not be header file, .header files. So you would include it like, let's go to our types. I think that's where we're probably going to put this stuff. So you would include it kind of like what you do this file system where you say include sparse hash, oops, dense dense hash map, sorry. Dense hash map, yeah. Because if I didn't put it in that, then I could just do it like this, huh? No, I think that's fine. Internal. I don't know if we need that. We probably do. So one question I am kind of curious about is actually for this usage. Okay, it says include Google slash. So it does want me to put in a Google namespace. Or, yeah. It says it uses that, which I'm kind of surprised about. I think that might be outdated. Let's go look at this here. You must call set empty key. It says here start Google namespace. Which is by default in the Google namespace, but you can change that if you really wanted to. What if I need to actually run this code? It almost looks like I do, huh? Like compile it. Maybe we need to do that. Here, we'll go ahead and do that here. Let's go to dev, dig external, throw this in here. What are you doing? Okay. That is a very old Visual Studio. Yeah, let's open up with 2019. Okay. Upgrading that project. Stop development. Really have to install this? Let's not do that right now. Dang. I really have to do that? By 2017. Hey, JChemist, what's up? Okay, it looks like that one worked. It's having issues though. Maybe it's not really working. Okay. Let's just try what I have set up so far. I'm not sure if this is going to work though, because I don't know if it has that stuff actually like defined inside of it. Like there are these tools and everything. Not tools, what the config stuff for some of it. Like it's not going to know what this means, that macro, right? I guess we'll just try. Maybe I have to set them up. Okay, so let's go into here and add in that directory or include. It's in libs Google. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. So it actually is able to find it right now. Maybe not. maybe not. Maybe what I should do to start with is not put it in here, but put it in somewhere else, like maybe world might be a good place. Dense hash map. Saying I can't find it. Oh, whoops. I definitely did that wrong. Ah, hold up. Yeah. So that was supposed to be in both. Okay. So that's probably part of the reason. Oh my gosh. Stop. Okay. Is it able to find it now? Doesn't look like it. Maybe. Oh, no, it doesn't look like it is. So that's entity groups. So we would need to set on our entity groups so like set empty key, I think is what it is. It's component bits. So we're trying to use this here. I don't know why it's failing to find that file. I think it's just that it doesn't know what that means. Like this start Google namespace. I think I need to set that stuff up. Hey, Top. Thanks for the raid. Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Hello, hello. I am working on this projectDIG game. I think you guys are somewhat familiar with it. Currently looking at moving over to Google sparse hashes, or a dense hash map and dense hash set. And I'm trying to get that right. We're struggling here a little bit. Not too bad. Just trying to actually understand how they expect you to set it up. That's the thing that sucks about using other libraries, is that whenever people create stuff, they tend to leave out a lot of, like, they assume knowledge on various things, and so yeah. Maybe I need to run this .configure script. That's my problem. Where are you from? I am in California right now. Northern California. Okay, so we'll try that. Configure, what is this? What is this? This actually... There's a lot of stuff, dang. Okay. I think we should be able to run it from here, right? Sparse hash. Maybe I want to open this file. I just want to run it. America, that's right. Software engineers assuming others have esoteric knowledge and obscure concepts? Not in my experience. Yeah, right. Never. Never. Well, it sounds like it's just not set up for Windows very well or something. Maybe that's what this Windows directory is. config.h. Okay, maybe this is what I need or something. config.h. Yeah, it looks like I need this config.h. Okay. Trying to just figure out what this is doing here. Sparseconfig.h. Like, what are all these files? This file is for internal use only. Do not use these defines in your own program. Sure. But like, what's the difference of that versus like this one? They have like 3 of these. What the heck? Google sparse hash versus they are all pretty much the same thing. Guess we'll just use one of these. Is sparse hash compatible with Windows? Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, they have like a Visual Studio solution set up here, and VS Projects, as well as inside of the source. It looks like they already have the config set up for us. I'm just gonna grab one of these and look to see if they have any configs in these files. So let's go back up to here. Let's look to see if it has a config. Like if they try using config in one of these. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, okay, look, there they go. They look for sparse hash internal sparse config. Okay. Ah, it looks like I'm missing. Okay, so I think I set this up wrong. I think I see what I'm doing wrong now. It looks like you need both of these for some reason. I don't get that. They look very similar. They're not though. Okay, I guess we need both. Of these. So I think what I need to be doing is in here, I actually need both. And then for the windows, I need to just copy over this stuff as well. I don't know if I need the config thing, but it sounds like I do need to paste in the, so now it has the config stuff set up, right? Internal config, yeah. Okay, so I think that's what we needed to do to get that working properly. Yeah, and this just includes that one. Okay. I get it now. I get it. Yeah, so can find that. So yeah, I believe that we're supposed to use that one. Header files have moved from Google directory to the sparse hash directory. The forwarding file is provided only for backwards compatibility. Okay, so it sounds like actually I shouldn't be using the Google one. Noted. I should use sparse hash. That's fine. So we'll get rid of that. And then we'll go into here and change. That's part of the confusion. Like I was seeing some places where we're using sparse hash and other places where I was using Google. Okay. So this should be sparse hash, right? Let's just double check that sparse. Okay, it's not being able to find that. That's what it's called, right? Libs, Google. Okay, so I probably should actually change this to be sparse hash. Oh, that's what I did wrong. Well, I fixed it now. I renamed the wrong directory, huh? Yeah. Okay, I think that's right now though. Sparse hash. Yeah. I had prematurely renamed that. Okay, so now it should find it, right? Sparse hash slash dense hash map. Should be able to find it. It looks like that's working now. There we go. Excellent. It looks like it's working now. And so yeah, we have the set. We need a set empty key on the entity groups. Deletion and empty routines. These are not standard. Let's see. But it says that we have to set the empty key, right? Up here. It says you must call set empty key immediately after construction. Set deleted key. Set deleted key. Okay. So yeah, we need an empty key, which is fine. We can just set it as 0. Because that's the component bits. Like, we're never going to want to have an entity group with no components. Like, that doesn't make sense. So this is like a good empty key. We don't have a deleted key, but we don't need one because we're never going to be deleting entity groups. So does this compile now? It does not. What is it doing? It does not like this. No user-defined conversion operator available that can perform this conversion. So it doesn't have an hash compare for the component bits. Really? Equal key allocator. So that doesn't work. The sparse hash key. Sparse hash. We go to this sparse config file. Says that that's in hash namespace hash compare, which is in the standard ext. But really where it should be? That might be outdated. Like, what's the standard for... We go back to our unordered map. You hash. Shouldn't that just be, yeah, it's standard hash. So maybe I actually need to go change. Oh, wait. Dang it, I just closed something that looked interesting. Hold up. What namespace is this in? That's in standard. What was I looking at just now? Saw something with stdext, but I only saw it right as I was closing it. So like I could say, let's just try this and say, okay, let's try to use the standard hash for this. It's still complaining about it. It says can't be used as a template argument for the hash function. Expected a real type. Sorry, I don't actually know what I'm doing. Oh, is it hash compare? looks like that might be what I'm supposed to be using. What's that int? Oh, that's what I'm doing wrong. I think it's expecting it to be templated, huh? Yeah, that's important. Sorry, I don't actually know what I'm doing. Just trying to figure it out. Hey! So that was right. Okay, yeah, I should have realized I needed to provide the template type. Okay, so I think really the fix here is that I should go over into our config file that we have and say, hey, let's make it so that this is just standard, not standard ext, whatever that is. And then we should be able to get rid of this and it should still work. No. It's still trying to use the standard ext, right? Did I change the right file? Dig external? No, I did not. That's why. It is important to change the correct thing. Surprisingly. No! It's still failing though. Is it still saying that it's trying to use... Where was that at? Hash function is hash compare. No, it's still saying stdext. So where's that? Let's go look at that a little bit. I'd like to make it so I don't have to specify the hash function for everything. I should be able to figure it out. I mean, I could always change the stat file, right? But I would like to not have to do that. That is the file, right? Yeah. This is now standard std. Everything else looks good. Hash namespace. Yeah, that looks fine. Why is this not working properly? Maybe it didn't realize that I changed the file. No, why is it still trying to use that though? I don't get that. Um, should be looking for more files than just one. What's going on here? Maybe it doesn't like that. The heck is going on here? Is it just stuck on that? Like I need to recompile it or something? Okay, how about this? What if we just change this to be hash, like that? Forget about the other bit. It's not a big deal. So it looks like, yeah, for some reason it's stuck on thinking that this is stdext. I don't know why. Which is why I feel like recompiling. Let's do that. Let's do a clean solution, delete everything, and then go to world and see if it works. Hey, Cooler. You're rating 2. Thanks. Yeah, it still just doesn't like that. That's so weird. I don't get it. Don't get it. Okay, fine. We'll just say, let's use that hash. Another thing I'd like to do while we're changing this a little bit, let's go to the standard unordered map. And there's a new contains. I guess what we probably actually need to do is go to just like go here and look for contains. Wait, it doesn't have it? Maybe it's defined somewhere else. Maybe that's what I have to do. Okay, yeah. That's what I was thinking it did. No discard. Nice, yeah. It is in this X hash. Does this derive from that as well? I'm curious now. No. But yeah, I was just thinking we could add that in. Okay, it is its own public function. Structures void clear size rep. What is that rep? It's the type def. Dense hash table. Where's that coming from? The actual data. I'm wondering if that is the thing that would have contains. That's currently private. Oh, whoops. Yeah, so it's private. Does this mess with this for a moment? So is that their own thing? Dense hash map. No, what I really would like to go to is, what is that? The dense hash table. Anyways, they have a find. I'll just add in the begin, right? So really what I want, they have a, and where do we have a find? Find. Lookup routines. So what I'd like to do is just add in a contains function. And there's the no discard. How do you do that again? I think it's just no discard. Bool contains const key type key. Say return rep find key, and then say if it's not equal to rep, or I mean, I guess what we could do, yeah, this is fine, rep end, right? That's really what we want. It's just that right there. So then we will be able to do a dot contains once it parses that, and we can check that, which will be nice. Nice, excellent. I like it. So yeah, we just need to make sure that we never try to delete anything here. I don't think we ever do. That's where we set it. So that compiles nicely. So like one thing that we kind of want to do is now go through everywhere that we use an ordered map, which is all of those places. So we're already using it in a lot of places. We want to just replace them all with most likely this Google dense hash map. Hey Bart, how's it going? Before I do that though, I think I'm going to change this to be maybe just like type def this as our I don't know, like default hash table. Got a new water bottle. It's fancy. I don't really like the straw thing. I guess I could take the straw off, but it keeps the water nice and cool, and it doesn't like sweat like my glass would typically, and it would leave a puddle. So that's nice. Okay, so yeah, we kind of just want to go through all these. Before we do that though, I suppose what I should do is just get things running. We'll do a build. That's gonna take a few. So while that's doing it, yeah, I think what we'll want to end up doing is probably something like go to types. And wait, what's happening there? It's complaining about world.h. Warning treated. Yeah. Usage of ATL attributes is deprecated. Oh, it doesn't like me doing that. What does that mean? I thought it was no discard. No discard. Maybe I did that wrong. Oh, whoops. Aha. I did. That's my bad. Me being a noob. Okay, let's try that now. I know our siege test is going to fail because I haven't added those includes in. I guess I can do that really quick. We just need to go into here, say ../.lib sparse hash include. Okay. It looks to be fine now. Yeah, I missed some brackets there. Do. Hey, Mr. Milo. Not cool to post links here. I'm gonna go ahead and time you out for a tiny bit. You should ask permission. For that. Yeah, just removing that. Yeah, especially links with no message whatsoever. You should get a bot that removes links. Yeah, I mean, it hasn't been an issue typically. Like, I do have Nightbot that can prevent links or whatever. Like, I can do that, but generally it's like DRM or something, you know? Right now I don't have any bad people aren't coming to my stream and posting bad links all the time or whatever. I'm too small for that stuff. So it's not a big deal. So it would just be hurting the normal users that would want to be able to post links, you know, when they're trying to be helpful. If it became an issue, then yeah, I would do that. Maybe I should make it so like they have to be a follower or something. Okay, so what I want to do is change this to just be like, what do I want to call this? Types. I'm just thinking of doing something along the lines of like, using maybe hash map, using hash set. Just do that. Obviously, I need to then include those two, Google or sparse hash map set. Oh, whoops. I don't know why it was being a little weird. So that way I can just say hash map and hash set rather than having to do that other stuff. Should find it. So then here I can say hash map. As long as I define it inside of, or I have types in here, which I'm pretty sure it does, unordered map. So we could like get rid of that. Oops. Feels weird to drink out of that. Okay, let's actually stop that and build with this. I mean, that should work, right? That should work. But dang, it's 10. I need a... Why can't it find that? That's the wrong namespace though, right? It's in Google. That's what it was doing. Why is this not working now? Okay, maybe actually I'm not including types here. Include types. Why? The heck? Do I have to provide that? Okay, maybe I see. I didn't realize that. Maybe I have to expand it out. Is that really what I have to do? Can I do it like that with the type def? Oh, whoops, that would be a hash set. Maybe not. Okay, maybe you do have to provide the template information with it. Template the using to have key and value. But yeah, dang. So are you able to, I mean, are you just not able to do that? Like, basically I want to do this rather than do that. So that way it's just like, if let's say in the future I'm like, you know what, actually Google kind of sucks. Google dense hash map. Let's move to some other one or implement our own. I could just change that here and I wouldn't have to go through everything and update it. They're using should work. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be. Let's look. C++ using template without. I don't even know what specialization. I don't even know what I would be looking for. Can I post a link? Yeah, go for it. Hey Jeremy, what's up? Yeah, maybe I need to look up using specifically. Type alias. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Oh, I need to do that. I see. Got it. C++ 17 allows you to do it differently? Oh, really? What's that? Hey, bit values. How's it going? C++ 17 type alias. Maybe it's called something else. I'm doing good. Doing good. Do you want to give some more information? straight strike, like structure binding declaration. I don't know what it's talking. That must be like, yeah, that's C++. I don't know why that's bleeding into that. Yeah, I'm doing good. Let me find it. Sure. For now, we can try to get this other way to work. So it sounds like what I need to do is provide this stuff then, right? Maybe I could just do the top two. What am I doing? Like this? Or do you have to provide everything? Then set. I think that would just be key. Like that, right? The value is what they call it. That does not work. Requires template argument list. Oh, whoops. Yeah, then we need to say key t. And this is value. I don't know if that's going to be right though. Like, it might need us to provide all of these. Like, do all of this. So that actually is working now. Okay. So we got a working one. I mean, so this doesn't support changing the hash map, or sorry, the hash function. So if we want to be able to do that, then we'll need to change this here. But yeah, now we can do that. That's good. Good to know. I didn't realize that you needed to do that template thing. Yeah. So we could do that. So the reason I want to do that is it makes it so that I could in the future more easily change which hash map or hash set solution we are using without going through and changing 50 different things like what we're going to need to do now. For all of these. We do have to look at it and think about it. One thing that kind of sucks is that we are going to have to set the default value, and if we ever want to delete a key, we also, or sorry, the what is it called? The empty key. So we need the empty key as well as a delete key if we ever do that, which is probably going to be different from other solutions. So we're still going to have to do some sort of porting if we ever did want to change the solution. It also means we have to go through all of these individually and really look at how they are being used, think about it. Cooking plus watching Siege game streams equals max chill BT dub. Nice. Glad you are enjoying it. Yeah, I actually do something like that. I don't play Hearthstone anymore, but I like to watch it, and I watch one streamer in particular, Dog or just Dog. And so I like to cook, and I'll watch his stream if he is streaming at the time, or maybe I'll watch like an older stream, just the VOD of it. Another thing I did recently, I should mention this because I don't think many people know about it, but it's pretty cool. But this guy, Let me find it. I'm blanking on his name now. What's his name? Sorry, give me a moment. I will think of it at some point in time. Just letting this compile right now. Takes so long. I'm looking for a link. Oh, I'll link it with you guys in a moment. You're like, wait, what is he talking about? That was my problem. I was looking for people who make games. It's called Humans Who Make Games. Here we go. So this is the podcast by Adam Conover. And he's kind of like a comedian dude. He's part of this TV show. What is it called? Adam Ruins Everything. But he's also a gamer. He's like pretty much the exact same generation as what I am and maybe what you guys are. Early mid 30s, who grew up on games like Super Nintendo, and he played a lot of like old school JRPGs, stuff like Final Fantasy 6 or Secret of Mana or whatever, stuff like that. And he also plays indie games now. And so he interviewed a bunch of indie game developers, and they're like a bunch of people that I actually know. And they're like, a lot of like kind of famous indie devs. So Edmund McMillan, Derek Yu, Justin Ma, Rich Freeland, who did Disaster Piece. Yeah. So he did this podcast. They're like 2 hours long, and he's just talking to them, and they're like really chill chats with just like them talking like Adam kind of like lets it flow, so it's really like relaxed. He's not really like pushing them to answer questions, but so it's very organic. They're just kind of talking, but it's a cool podcast. So check it out. If you guys ever listen to something like Big Sushi, it's kind of similar to that. I don't even know if Big Sushi's around still. Yeah, I don't think they make podcasts whatsoever anymore. He said he wanted to do interviews again a year ago, but he hasn't posted anything. But that was a cool podcast. I don't know if you can find their stuff anywhere. John is now doing other things, but well, it seems like you could find it here. But this is cool too. I actually did a podcast with them like pretty early on. Like very early on. I think I was like Yeah. It's back in 2013, I believe. Maybe even before that. It was like so early in development. Uh, yeah, it was very early on. But it looks like you can find their stuff there. So that's cool stuff. Like they did a lot of talks as well. I think they're usually a little bit shorter than what this Humans Who Make Games podcast does. But yeah, good podcast. Good to listen to while you're cooking. Okay, so it compiled. Let's actually test this. And I need to okay, cool. It seems to be working. Excellent. I don't know why it didn't load up earlier. Good. Um So yeah, it would be interesting to see what the performance is like after we make this change. But anyways, so that's working. Yay. So what we need to now do is go through all of our maps and or unordered maps, and also if we have any sets, and move them over to probably this hash map is what I'm thinking we're going to want to use for pretty much everything. We'll see. I think that's going to be the case. But yeah, that's going to be it for this portion of the stream. I'm going to switch over to Korea. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. We are going to be having shorter days for Project Dig for the next while because I need to be working on a Korea update and getting that out in about a month. So we'll be doing Korea dev. First, I think what our schedule is going to be is typically 8 to 10 a.m. Pacific time. We'll be working on Project Dig stuff, and then after that, we'll jump over to Korea. If we're making lots of progress, then maybe we can allocate a little bit more time to Project Dig, do 8 to 11 or something like that. But I want to just try to focus on Korea for a while and get that done. Maybe we should just do that. Try to get it done, period. I don't want to push it to the deadline. So yeah, thank you guys for joining for today. That's going to be it for day 65. We'll be back tomorrow with more Project Dig, day 66. We'll probably do this hash map stuff, go through it, clean it all up, do the same with our sets, and maybe see what the performance difference is like. Yeah, thank you guys. I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.